Hello.
Hey.
So, I'm Flick.
I'm Murtag.
And I'm going to be running UFO 50. So, first thing about this game, it's pretty interesting. It's not just one game. It is 50 games in one, and I'm going to be running two of them. Well, three of them now that the incentive has been met, to my understanding. So yeah, I'm only going to be running 3/50ths of this game, but trust me, there's still a lot to it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm happy to get right into it. So the first game I'm going to be running is called Avianos, and it is a strategy game. I will probably hand off a lot of the commentary to Murtag while I do a lot of focusing on all the strategy and whatnot. But let's jump in. I'll say when time starts, but for now we're just undusting this old game that we haven't played in a long time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1,
Go. This is Avianos, game 12 of 50, of UFO 50. The world is taken over by birds, and they worship dinosaurs because, dinosaurs are the ancestors of birds, and they're fighting wars against each other. So we're going to be praying to our dinosaur gods and getting powers in order to fight a civil war, bird versus bird. Got that? Right. So this is like a Civ 4X style game. So and it's a bit complicated, but I'm going to try and run it through as quick as I can. So we take a turn, and then the enemy AI is going to take a turn. We always pray to a dinosaur each turn. So oh my god, you just got the 2-turn win?
Yep, I'm just going to jump in briefly and just say there is a very rare setup you can get. It is very rare. I would say like
oh my god.
1 in 50 maybe to win on turn 2. So we have just saved a lot of time.
So here's a battle. So this game is very, very random. We have a 20-minute estimate. We might not finish. Oh, a 15-minute estimate. We might not finish. But world record is 2 minutes and 13 seconds by Flick here. And this is how you get world record. You just hit this 3 times. Level 1 done.
A little bit anticlimactic. Yeah, sometimes the CPUs just let us win. It's very nice of them. Kind of an unfair battle. We had 6 soldiers to their 2. Not much chance they stood against that. But we're probably going to see a much more substantial Fledgling round, which is the second one. So I'll hand it back to Murtag as I jump in.
So we need to be 3 levels basically of increasing difficulty with the AI gets smarter. So I'll try to just explain what's going on. So here we pick our god. It's going to be the Quetzal here. And then we do 3 actions, and it's a specific order based on the god. So we muster, which is like generating units, and then we moved, and then we use this kind of ability. We have resources in the bottom left. We've got the seeds, which is kind of used for making units, bones, which are mainly going to be used for casting spells, and workers for making like buildings and stuff, but we're not really going to use that. So we can see the tiles, the 5x5 grid. The red is us and the blue is the enemy. The main objective is to control 4 of the castles, which are those little tower things with the flags. And we hold those 4 towers for 2 turns, and then we win. But there is an alternate win condition. There's actually 2 alternate win conditions, which is basically to completely obliterate the opponent. If they have absolutely nothing, so they can't do anything on their turn, then you instantly win. That's the fastest way. So, and whenever you battle, this is how it looks. We won that battle, good job. So there are a whole bunch of different units. It's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors thing going on. But we have almost no control over our units. We can tell them to flee if we want, but we can just tell them to like attack, and that's it. And they're extremely random, but I'll talk probably more about that as we go. So we've got 3 other towers now. If we can just grab 1 more and then hold it, we should be able to get through this level. The AI has kind of gone into like the corner here. This is like pretty okay RNG. This run is going really solid overall. So we moved our units, and then we can trade when we go with Quetzal. There's another mechanic as well, which is as you pray repeatedly to the same dinosaur, you get blessings, which improves one another. So we just got a blessing with Rexodon here. So we now pick something we want to improve. We improve the move action, so now we can move diagonally, and normally you can only move in cardinal directions. So you spend some seeds, and now we can move diagonally, and then we'll you're gonna go for that one. Okay, fair.
Mm-hmm. Gonna challenge them.
So then we're going to move diagonally, so we're going to attack this way. So we've stacked a low bunch of units. They have archers on the wall. Archers on walls are like insanely OP. And also insanely random. So every single time an archer hits an enemy, it deals a random amount of damage. and one of those outcomes is 0 damage. So an archer could shoot 10 times at a guy and deal literally 0 damage, or he could like kill him in like 2 hits. It's just total RNG. Now what could happen is that we get like a stalemate, like both players have 3 towers, and if like the attacks always are repelled over and over, then we could lose a lot of time, hence why our estimate needs to be so high. But hopefully that doesn't happen. So we got the 4 towers, so it says hold to win. We need to hold them for 2 turns. Enemy is going over to that side. So we can't see where the enemy units are. That's where the question marks are on the blue squares. But they're probably going to be attacking that tower, because on their next turn, they have to take a tower, otherwise they lose. So they're going to do some kind of attack. And obviously it's going to be there. See, next turn, a win if you can hold. Right, they're going to do attack, so we just pray they don't win.
Oh, 2 archers versus our 3 archers.
Surely we have a knight as well, who's like immune to archer fire, so I'm pretty sure this is a win.
There we go.
Let's go.
That is a very fast second round too.
Yeah, so this is going swimmingly.
I won the war. There you go.
Easy.
So now we go into the adult, which is the final mission of the main campaign. And this one is trickier because the AI is smarter, they start with more units, so it's going to be more challenging. As you can see, they've only grown more devious.
Yeah, the enemy also cheats on this high difficulty. So we always start with like 2 units. We can see at the tower, we have 2. On this difficulty, the enemy starts with 4, which is, that's not on in my opinion. I think it's straight up cheating. But that's what they're going to do. We're going to do what we can. Yeah, so Flick is rushing down towards this bottom tower. So they've taken that tower, so this is going to be interesting how we get our 4. So I'm going to see how Flick plays this. I'm going to pick the Quetzal, muster some units, and then we're going to move some of our guys down to take that bottom one. Every time we move into a new tile, we also get resources. You can see resource icons on all of the unclaimed tiles. So moving around is also really good for collecting loads of resources. Rexodon here, we get a blessing because we picked him for the 2nd time. Rexodon is just like really good for just, I just want to make units and attack things. Because you get seeds, you spend those seeds on units, and then you move, which you can attack with. So Rexodon's kind of like the easiest, kind of most aggressive character to use. Okay, they're attacking from the mountain, interesting, with 1 archer, and so the enemy there just chose to flee, because the AI is like smarter.
Wise decision.
So he's saved his unit by being clever and flying that attack. That's good though, that means that AI kind of wasted his move. Here we're going to pick Stegnar and get a blessing here. Guess we're going to make our recruiting better. So this time we have to move first instead before we build or recruit units. The buildings are somewhat useful. They let us get extra resources in certain situations or be able to recruit in new places, but they're mainly looking to just kind of rush the enemy down. So we had no units on that tile, so the enemy just takes it for free. They've got a pretty big army there. That's a little bit scary. See how this works out. Thinking hard about this one. So Quetzal, get a blessing. So normally you can't move through mountains, the big brown things in the tiles. But if we upgraded the move here, we could actually lets you move through the mountains. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to make our muster better. We're going to rush across to that tower on the right. So ideally, we take the tower on the right, and then we just hold it for 2 turns. But we know they have a big army, so that's pretty difficult. We suspect that the AI on this difficulty also cheats and can see where you have units, because like we have loads of units in the bottom tower, like 6 archers, but the one on the left only has 4 archers. So in our experience, it tends to attack the one that's least well defended, even though in theory it shouldn't know. That's That's an interesting move. So there it used Trilock, which can cast spells, and it teleported around and took a bunch of tiles. Okay, so this is going to be a very decisive battle. We've got a bomber that hopefully we can take out before it kills all of our guys.
Oh,
Let's just see how that goes. Nice, we took care of the bomber. Nice. Okay, so there our archers put in like real work, and we didn't hit those 0 rolls too often, so we repelled that attack. So that's really good.
so that battle looked like it was a complete blowout in my direction, but battles can be very swingy. So
Yeah, the RNG is on the damage and the way the AI works and everything is just crazy. Like the enemy had like a bomber there, and only our archers can kill that bomber, which is the flying unit. And so if our archers had just failed to kill that bomber, we would just lose. Okay, so we are holding our 4 towers. So while we let the enemy see what they can do, we can have a donation read real quick here.
Excellent. I've got a $5 donation from DDR Jake, who says, put this donation towards getting a Cherry and UFO 50's onion delivery.
yeah, you don't want to see me play onion delivery. That is not pretty.
Nice, we won. Is that time?
Yeah, that is time.
Yeah, that's time.
That was very unexpected.
That was very fast. Wow,
Nice
yes,
and
that's a really good run. Good job.
yeah, I did not expect to win so fast. Sometimes the CPUs just they ain't got the tactics that you got. They don't put up much of a fight. So what can I say?
I really thought they were going to take one of those towers. Was going to draw out, but
yeah, I think it really came down to that decisive battle where they had a lot of units, I had a lot of units, but my archers were just too powerful for them.
All right, yes, this is the ending, but we're probably going to leap over to our next game. So I guess we're probably going to go to intermission to set up the overlays. Shouldn't be too long.
Yeah, we'll jump over a quick intermission just while you guys get set up.